Welcome back to the Manc Entrepreneur YouTube channel, and in today's episode I'm talking to you about why you cannot let pride hurt your business. Now, I know exactly what it's like to be a young person, a young entrepreneur, a young fresh out of college, university, and you want to make a name for yourself in the world, and pride or ego can be something which stops that from happening, and it certainly affects how well you come across to other people. The reality is that if you are a young person in business today, then you have to remember that right now we are still largely young people in an old person's world when it comes to business. There's still, and it is changing, and like I said, CEOs and entrepreneurs are getting younger and younger, and that's sorry, something came into my head which is definitely a video for another day, but that is one of the obstacles which you're going to have to come across and get over, and ultimately, if you are too proud to acknowledge some of those reasons that people may not want to do business with you or may doubt you, then that can cause some long-term damage. Getting a little bit sort of personal, again with my own story, is that here in the UK I was the youngest multi-channel e-commerce consultant, and that meant that some people would get in touch, and I never used to sort of highlight how old I was at the time, because I knew it was a stumbling block for some of the older generation of business people. But I knew people get in touch, and then the question, they would ask how old I was, and I'd tell them, and then I heard it quite a few times that people would say, how do you know what you know? You're like a kid fresh out of school, you can't possibly be trying to advise me on my business and what I should be doing. I've been in business longer than you've been out of, been in school, sort of thing. And at that point, you have a choice. You always have a choice. And the choice is that you take it personally and you give it them back, and you start an argument, and you get all proud and tell them what you do know and that I've done this, that and the other, or you acknowledge their concerns, you shake their hand, wish them well, and move on. And the latter one is the option that I would strongly recommend you taking. I used to take it so personally when people would doubt what I had to say, because I guess I had an ego. I had such an ego that I had all the answers when it came to multi-channel e-commerce with eBay and Amazon, and I certainly didn't have all the answers. I definitely knew what I was talking about, and I had the track record to back it up, but I couldn't look at it from their point of view, and that was my biggest problem. And obviously I managed to acknowledge that was a mistake on my part, and then I acknowledged that if I was in their position, what would I think of me sitting on the other side of the table? And whilst I probably would have given me a go, I could understand some of the trepidation. They're trusting me with a business which they may have run for 20 years or inherited, that has been going for 50, 70 years from their parents. And all I would say is that people are going to judge you and people are going to underestimate you. Don't take it personally. They're just not your customers yet, is what I'd say. Let them be your motivators. Let those people who don't believe in you and don't think that you know what you're talking about be the ones who in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years time come back knocking on your door begging for your help or advice. Because then you win. It's a nice feeling, because you don't burn bridges this way. If you start an argument and tell them that they're stupid for not listening to you and how dare they insult you, blah blah blah, nobody wins. They'll never want to work with you again, and it's much better to keep don't burn bridges. Basically, keep your options open, keep your network, you know, as big as it possibly can. And why would you want to have enemies when you can have friends? That's the biggest thing. And the only thing that makes enemies instead of friends in this instance is when you're too proud to acknowledge other people's opinions of yourself. Instead, focus on those people who believe in you, who've bought into what you know and what they believe you can do for their business, because those are the people who you should be wanting to help. Those are the people who deserve your time and energy and attention, and ultimately those are the people who you'll want to help succeed. And if you can turn some of your potential haters into fans a little down the line, it's a win-win for everyone. But don't let pride hurt your business. I suffered from it for thankfully for a short time. And now, if people don't want to work with me, they may not like who I am. They may not like me for whatever reason. You know, nobody likes everybody. You know, nobody appeals to everybody. It is what it is, and you just have to acknowledge that they aren't going to be your customers. But don't take it personally. Go and find the people who do buy into what it is that you have to say, or do buy into what you have to sell, and that's the best way that I can explain it. It's like, don't be too proud to acknowledge that those people are not your customers for whatever reason, whether their reasons be right or wrong in your opinion. That is their opinion. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I hope it's given you some food for thought this Friday. Another nice day here in the UK. That's why I'm making the most of being able to get outside as much as I can. If you've enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new. There's new content every single weekday. With that said, enjoy your weekend. I'll be back here on Monday for another Mondays Don't Suck episode. That's all there is to say. Have a great weekend. Go and crush it, whatever you're doing, and I'll be right here with you back on Monday. Thank you for watching.